Well, we're here at the J Davison Stadium in the aftermath of Altrincham's 1-0 win over Eastleigh in the FA Trophy, 5th round. Phil, you're into the quarter-finals. Can't get much better than that.
Well, it can. We can get to Wembley. So yeah, it's great that we've progressed. Again, I feel like we've had it really difficult. Macclesfield, Barnet, Eastleigh, really tough teams. The draws haven't been kind to us. But the positive has been we've been at home, and our home form's been really, really good. As I said previously, the pitch is really, really difficult to play for both teams, but particularly for us, it allows them to really press us and get after us. But our lads still played some of the best football on the day, I felt personally. But it gives them half a chance. So really difficult conditions, probably perfect cup tie, a bit like what I said against Mac, but slightly different because Eastleigh are on the same level as us. So the leveller sort of equation doesn't count there because Eastleigh are a top team, and made it really difficult on the day. And listen, they were depleted as well. They had a few players missing, so I'm not going to play down that was their strongest team. That they know they've come and they've worked the socks off there. The manager should be proud of them. I know we will, because I would be after watching my team perform like that with as many key players they've got out as they have at the moment. And all we can do is take advantage of that. So luckily on the day we've got a player that's absolutely banging form, and I give him a lot of plaudits, and he's lived up to it today.
Well, you mentioned Eastleigh is a tough side. They were very well drilled in defence. They defended for 90 minutes. Is that what you expected from them, coming here and trying to play for penalties maybe? Well,
like I said, they were depleted, weren't they? They've got some of the best strikers in the division out, so Paul McCallum, obviously Quigley as well. So for them, that's like us losing Regan or Alex. So it's difficult, but what you need then is your players to be really resilient and fashion chances. They've still got Maguire on the pitch, who's played for Sunderland in the Championship and League One, etc. So they've got that quality on the pitch. So we knew it was going to be difficult today, whatever team rolled up. But they worked exceptionally hard, made it difficult for us. And whenever we play Eastleigh, we have a lot of the ball anyway, for whatever reason that is. It's just the way it falls. And I felt we used it as well as we could in really difficult conditions. We didn't fashion loads of chances, but I felt first half we did create a couple, where another day maybe Justin gets one of the two opportunities he's had where he's swiveled and not quite connected, and where he's landed on it in the box and not quite been able to get the right touch on the finish. But it was one of them games where it just wasn't going to go in for Justin. I think he had 2 or maybe 3 at the back end as well, where he's gone through, one that's pulled back to him, or should have been pulled back to him. So yeah, another day Justin Amaluza comes away with a hat-trick, and it's a really comfortable victory, but it just didn't happen that way.
Well, talking of depleted squads, Alty's is one that isn't depleted anymore. We saw Justin Amaluza, as you mentioned, return from injury again today. He started on Tuesday night, played 45 minutes, 90 minutes today. Is he back to full fitness now? No,
not at all. I mean, I was desperate to get him off, to be fair, and I could hear people shouting at me. Everyone's a manager, aren't they, in these games? And telling me to get my subs on, but it was such a tight game. You feel like you make a change and it goes against you in a game like this, particularly with the height that they had. Justin gives us that physicality, even though he's a winger. You take him off and you bring on a Cozzy or a Carell, for example. They get one set piece ball into the box and there's a complete mismatch. Hence why I had to make the changes at the Forest Green game that I know I got a bit of criticism for, but like I said, everyone's a manager. When it doesn't go well, when it goes well, I'm sure I'll get the pats on the back. But yeah, the substitutes were a difficult one tonight, just purely on how close the game was. I felt we needed Bix to get on there and give us a bit of stretch, because it was one of them games where we weren't able to play the shorter passing game. We had to go a little bit more direct, and Jake gave us that in abundance, and it's nice to have that variation. And Justin got through the game for us, so that it definitely wasn't the plan to play him 90. You could tell him he was aching a bit in the end, and I needed him to get back for that last set piece where he probably wanted to stay up. But he did that for the team, and we managed to get over the line in the end.
Well, there was frustration amongst the fans at the referee's performance today. There was a lot not given, and then some soft ones given. How did you view how that affected the game today?
Well, it didn't negatively affect us today, did it? But it could have done. So there was a lot of soft free kicks, but I felt he did it for both teams, to be fair. I felt there was a number that they would have been disappointed with, and we certainly were. So I understand the fans' frustration, but thankfully it's not cost us today, but it doesn't justify it. Obviously you need a higher standard than that in terms of just understanding of the physicality of the level, and when players are running at full speed, the slightest of contacts, he's going to disbalance them. They don't have to be physically thrown to the floor. And let's be honest, this is non-league. It's not like lads. It's so obvious what's going on. You don't need VAR to look back at something at this level. It's quite intense. Everybody's close to the pitch. You can see it all. But listen, referees are like you and me. We're human. We're going to make mistakes, but you just only can hope that they be better for games like this, and I'm sure he will.
Well, we've had another hero in the FA Trophy today. It was Tom Crawford in the last round, Regan Linney this time. How crucial is he to this Altrincham side?
Well, he's huge, isn't he? I mean, when you've got a player doing what he's doing, that's why he's getting all the attention. Everyone will be even more nervous after tonight. I was kind of glad he was missing previously in other games without it costing us, but we needed that. I said to the players yesterday about how important it was to give him as much of the ball as possible, just like what we would do with someone like Chris last season, who was banging form, and it's proved to be that he's turned out in a really tight game to be our match winner. And you can play the best football in the world, you can be as organised as you want, you can be as tactically aware as you want, you can have the best management, the best players, but if you don't have the best forwards, or you don't have players who can take their chances, you don't get anything in this game. And luckily we've always recruited those types of players, sometimes sacrificing maybe level of football for potential and physicality for clinicality, so to speak. Where you look at other teams where they'll go for big physical presences. I don't know, we've got one in Joe this season, but it's probably the first time we've ever had that. But I certainly look at players on, can they finish, can they create in them areas of the pitch. That's the first thing that I look at. And I know that sounds like common sense, but people don't believe it or not. The amount of times I speak to agents and players and they say, I can run the line, I can hold it up, which is great, but you're looking for someone who can create your goal, score your goal, and Regan's always had that in his locker, and he's delivered for us beautifully tonight.
Well, I had to mention the supporters today. They sang for pretty much 90 minutes. Do you think they're answering your call to be that 12th man for the squad?
I think they are, yeah. I think they are. I hope that, like my players, they're listening to the pleads that I give them at times. I understand fans' frustration at bits and bobs that go on around the football club, but one thing they can't be frustrated with is the level of attitude and application, skill, quality that I'd like to think our players churn out 99% of the time. And they get the rewards that the turning up gives them. So turning up allows us to get that extra little bit at the end, and as you said, they've always been good here, but just of late they've really got behind what we're doing, and I think that's one of the biggest attendances, or it felt that way where I said Eastleigh away last time. It felt big because they sang so much. It felt for a trophy game. We don't normally get big attendances for trophy games, even though it's really important to the football club, but they've turned up, they've answered my sort of rallying call, and we needed it, didn't we? Look where the game's gone to, the last bit at the end. Regan, did he get that extra bit of energy from the fans? I'm telling you, 100%, yeah. So thanks for turning up and getting behind us, and you were the 12th man today.
Well, there's more big teams out of the FA Trophy today. Forest Green are out, Southend are out. Anyone you fancy in the next round?
Nope, just hopefully get a home tie again and see where that takes us. We've not been lucky with any draw, and you're not now. There's no luck now. Every team's a good team, or they wouldn't be at this point. So listen, all we can do is focus on trying to get over the line in the next game.
Well, a week off now for Altrincham and Braintree next Saturday. What goes into this week preparation training? A lot of players are back now. What's going to happen this week?
Well, they'll get a little rest on Monday. I've given them that off. We weren't going to do it, but I felt they deserved that after the performance today, and then we'll reevaluate everything going into Tuesday. It'll be a big session from Tuesday. So where they get Monday off, obviously they'll be recovering at their own gyms and at home, but just having a little bit of relaxation and deserved reward for a top performance, because you need to do that with players. You can't always have your foot on the throat. Sometimes you've got to release the throttle at times and allow them to enjoy the fact that they've won, and then we'll be really bang at it going into Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, getting ready for Braintree.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Thank you.